and just find a comfortable seated position. Let's tune in. You can sit cross-legged, you can sit up on your knees, whatever feels right for your body today. I don't know about you guys, but this gray weather is really getting to me, so let's move our bodies today and just spend some extra time doing this self-care on our mats tonight. You can go ahead and close your eyes if you haven't already done so. Really let yourself get nice and grounded through your sit bones. On your next inhale, reach the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And just begin making those tiny micro adjustments as you stack your vertebrae one on top of the other, following that natural curvature of your spine. Align the shoulders over the hips. Roll the shoulders down and away from the ears. Align the ears over the shoulders and maybe even tuck your chin half an inch, just to bring your cervical spine into a neutral position as well. Just check in and pay some extra attention to the pace of your breath. Maybe counting the inhales, trying to match your exhale to that same count. Just feel your breath as it enters your lungs, expanding your chest. Rib cage flares out slightly, diaphragm engages, bringing that breath deep into your belly. As you exhale, the navel comes close to the spine and everything comes in that reverse. As you exhale that breath out. Great time to set any intentions you might want to set for today's class. Whatever that might be. When you're feeling ready to begin, you can just gently blink your eyes open, make your way into a tabletop position, and we'll take a few extra breaths just in a child's pose. Getting ourselves extra grounded here, knees nice and wide to the outside edges of your mat, big toes to touch. Walk those hands forward, forehead down onto the mat. Allowing your belly to expand with every inhale into the space you've created between your legs. As you exhale, gently press into all 10 finger pads and see if you can find that extra half an inch along the back of your body. And see if you can bring those sit bones a little bit closer to your heels. Continue to breathe. On your next inhale, let's rise on up into a tabletop position. We're gonna roll over our toes and find our downward dog. Piking your sit bones nice and high up towards your ceiling. You can alternate bending each knee. You can bend both knees deep, bring your belly to touch your thighs. Send those sit bones a little bit higher. Find that extra extension along your spine and slowly begin to straighten those knees, drawing the ankles down towards the mat. Drop your head and breathe. Once you're in that right shape, play with the weight distribution, 50% in the hands, 50% in the feet. We're grounding in through the ball of our feet, but begin to send 50% of the weight in your feet back towards the ankles. Ankles do not have to touch the mat, but drawing that weight back gives you an extra extension along the back of your legs and begins to bring the ankles down towards the ground. Continue to breathe. On your next inhale, we're gonna lift up the left heel, bend at the knee, Stack that left hip over the right, coming into a three-legged dog. Really breathe nice and deep into the left side of your body. You can draw that left heel towards the right hip to really get into that hip opener. One more inhale here. As you exhale, draw that left knee to the nose. Take a big step between your hands. Drop that right knee. Come into your low lunge. Roll those shoulders down and away from your ears. Chest leads forward. Bring your gaze forward and up. And breathe. Taking one more inhale here. As you exhale, bring your left hand to the inside of that left foot. Maybe even pivot that foot towards the left side of your mat. Coming into a lizard pose. You can go ahead and go deeper if you'd like. You can bend those elbows. You can come down onto your forearms. We're gonna take 3 breaths here in this hip opener. Lots of emotions that we hold in our hips. And on the eve of the new Gemini moon, on a cloudy like day like today, I don't know if you guys are feeling like me, but this feels so good. Another 3 breaths here. On your next inhale, rise on back up. Plant your hands, roll over the right foot, toes, and just press back into your downward dog. Taking an inhale and an exhale here. Inhale, right heel to the sky, coming into your 3-legged dog again. Stacking that right hip over the left. Opening your hips towards the right side. Breathing nice and deep into the right side of that torso. One more inhale here. As you exhale, draw that right knee towards the nose. Big step between the hands. Drop the left knee, low lunge. Again, roll the shoulders down and away from the ears. Bring your sternum, your chest plate forward and up. And breathe. You want to feel this in that back hip, so do what you need to with that front foot so that you can get a little bit of a stretch into that hip flexor. One more inhale here. As you exhale, come on into your lizard pose on the second side. Option to pivot that right foot out to the side a little bit more. You can keep your arms nice and straight to support your body, or you can begin to lower yourself down towards your forearms. Maybe you go a little bit deeper. You're feeling this in the left hip, but you're also feeling it in the right hip. Deep hip opener here. Continue to breathe. One more breath here. On your next inhale, we're going to come back up into our hands and press into that downward dog. Take a breath. Next inhale, draw your weight forward, find your high plank. We're going to flow it out a few times and start with a modified. Take another inhale. As you exhale, drop your knees. Chaturanga, elbows nice and tight to your body, all the way down, kiss your mat. Inhale, baby cobra, only using your back muscles to peel your chest up and out. As you exhale, press into a tabletop, roll over your toes, come into your downward dog. Let's do that one more time. We're gonna move a little bit faster this time. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chaturanga, elbows nice and tight all the way down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Take a breath. Inhale, high plank. Option to drop your knees again, or if you'd like to build more heat, you can go ahead and continue to stay in a hover with me. Exhale, chaturanga to hover. Inhale, baby cobra or upward dog. If you're in upward dog, make sure those thighs are lifted up off the ground. Exhale, downward dog. Take a breath. Inhale, left heel into the sky. As you exhale, bring it forward into your high plank and chaturanga. Lower that left foot, upward dog. Downward dog. Second side, inhale, right heel into the sky. Come forward into your high plank. Exhale, lower down. Lower that foot, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. And breathe. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, hop or step to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold again, yogi bow. Inhale, grounding through the feet, arms up overhead. Interlock your fingers, release the pointer finger. Big toes to touch, an inch of space between your heels. We're coming into crescent moon. Roll the shoulders down and away from the ears. Take an inhale to really find the length in your spine. As you exhale, hinge over towards the right. Keeping some length in the right side of your torso so you're not crunching in. Grounding in through that left side of the foot so that you've got a nice sturdy base. Roll that left shoulder open so that your shoulders and your hips are in one plane of motion. Trying to keep those arms as straight as possible. Making those micro adjustments as you breathe. Slight adjustment, inhaling for some length. Exhaling, see if you can come down a little bit deeper. One more breath here. Inhale, come on back to center. You can bend your elbows for a release if you'd like. Exhale, hinging over towards the left. Again, rolling that right shoulder open, keeping your hips and your shoulders in one plane. Keeping those shoulders nice and low so that your neck has a little bit of space. Grounding in through that side of the right foot. And breathe. Take an inhale to come on back to center. Release your hands and we're going to swoop right into eagle. Reach the right arm under the left. Twist tie your arms. You can either take hold of your shoulders, interlock your fingers, or bring your palms to touch. Bend your knees nice and deep, grounding in through that left foot. We're going to cross the right leg over the left. You can rest those right toes on the mat or wrap them around the calf. Working hard to keep your shoulders and your hips in one line. Draw that right hip back, left hip forward. Bring the elbows a little bit higher so that they're in line with your shoulders. Feel that opening between the shoulder blades. Bring your hands a little bit further away from your face. Squeeze everything to that center line. As you exhale, see if you can sit down a little bit lower. And breathe. Inhale, release, rise all the way up, arms up overhead. As you exhale, we're gonna do this again. Left arm under the right. Twist, tie your arms, set those up first. Ground in through the right foot, sit down nice and low. Cross the left leg over. Again, feel free to keep those left toes to the outside of your body for balance, or you can wrap them around your calf if that's available for you. Draw that left hip back, right hip forward. Finding that alignment. Elbows nice and high, hands away from your face. Squeeze everything to that center line. If you're feeling a little bit wobbly, sit down a little bit lower. Just don't forget to breathe. Inhale, release, rise all the way up. As you exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips. Inhale, straighten your back. As you exhale, plant your hands, hop or step back into your high plank. Take a breath. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Take an inhale, right heel to the sky. As you exhale, draw the knees toward the nose, doing some core work. Inhale, heel up. Exhale, knee to the right elbow. Inhale, heel up. Exhale, knee to the left elbow. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, draw that knee towards the nose. Take that big step. Engage the core. Come on up into your runner's lunge. 45-degree angle with your torso off your thigh. See if you can bring your thigh to 90 degrees, parallel to the ground. Palms facing down. One plane of motion from the crown of your head to the heel of that left foot. Stay nice and high on the ball of that left foot. Draw your elbows towards each other behind you and rotate your forearms so that your thumbs are pointing up towards the ceiling. Take an inhale here to come up into a crescent lunge. Arms up overhead, parallel to your ears. Legs are exactly where they were. Draw that left hip forward, right hip back so that you're squaring yourself off to the front of your mat. And breathe. Take an inhale. As you exhale, open up into your warrior two. Planting that left foot so it's just about parallel to the back of your mat. One straight line from middle finger to middle finger. On your next inhale, we're going to drop the right forearm to the thigh, reach the left fingertips up and overhead. Extended side angle. And breathe. Take an inhale here, come on up into your warrior two. Next inhale, straighten that front knee. Reach the right fingertips forward a few inches. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Find your Trikonasana, triangle pose. You want to work towards bringing the left shoulder over the right. Bringing your gaze up towards the left thumb if that's available to you. Pretend you're pressing that left hand into an imaginary wall to find a little bit of a twist that's coming from the base of your spine. Keeping your spine as straight as you can. Tucking that left rib cage back in. Keeping some space along the right side of your torso. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, drop the back hand, right fingertips up and overhead. And breathe. Inhale, come on back up. Exhale, warrior two one more time. Inhale, straighten that front knee. Exhale, windmill the hands. Plant the hands to frame the foot. Find your high plank. Take a breath. Chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. And breathe. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, left heel to the sky. Exhale, draw that left knee towards the nose. Inhale, heel to the sky. Exhale, knee to the left elbow. Inhale, heel to the sky. Exhale, draw the knee across. Find contact with the right elbow. Inhale, heel up. Exhale, draw the knee towards the nose. Take that big step. Engage the core. Inhale, come on up. Find that runner's lunge, second side. 45 degrees off your thigh with your torso. One plane of motion from the crown of your head to the heel of that right foot. Again, squeeze your elbows together behind you. Rotate your forearms to find that chest opener. And breathe. Inhale, come on up into your crescent lunge. Arms up overhead, parallel to your ears. Draw that right hip forward, left hip back to square yourself off. One more inhale here. As you exhale, open up into your warrior two. One line, middle finger to middle finger. Right foot is just about parallel to the back of your mat. Feel the hip opener in the back hip. And breathe. Take an inhale here as you exhale, coming into that extended side angle. Right fingertips up and overhead. Breathe nice and deep into the right side of your torso. Inhale, rise on up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Bring your fingertips forward a few inches. Exhale, hinge at the hips, find your Trikonasana. Working towards stacking that right shoulder over the left. Trying to keep your spine nice and straight, starting from the crown of your head to the base of your spine. Should be one straight line. Pressing into that imaginary wall with your right hand to find that twist. Inhale, engage the core, rise on up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, drop the back arm, reach the left fingertips up and overhead. Gentle warrior. Breathing nice and deep into the left side of your torso. Inhale, engage the core, come on back up, find that warrior two. Take an inhale to straighten the leg. Exhale, windmill your arms to frame the foot. High plank. Take a breath. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. And breathe. Taking one more inhale here. As you exhale, hop or step to the front of your mat. Go ahead and find a forward fold. You can release your hands from the ground. You can grab opposite elbows, nod your head, shake your head. Just let yourself hang. Adjust your weight slightly so that your hips are aligned over your heels, getting a little bit deeper into the hamstrings. Release your head so that you're coming strict into this inversion. And just breathe. One more inhale here. As you exhale, you can release your elbows, fingertips back onto the ground or your shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, grounding in through your feet. Come all the way up, arms up overhead. We're gonna bring our big toes to touch, an inch of space between our heels. Bring your hands to your back, kind of like you're putting them into your back jeans pocket. Draw your elbows towards each other, so bringing your sternum forward and up. Pretend you're trying to make yourself shaped like a candy cane. So take an inhale to reach the crown of your head. As you exhale, begin to lean back. Track your eyes along one straight line through your ceiling. Pretend you're holding on to a grapefruit between your chin and your chest, so you're not dropping your head behind. And we're also trying our best not to push our hips forward, but instead grounding nice and firmly through both feet, lifting from the chest, and then coming over. Again, like that candy cane. One more breath here. As you inhale, come all the way back up. Beautiful. We're gonna come into a wide-legged fold. So take a nice wide step. Pigeon toe your toes slightly so they're coming towards each other. Hands on your hips. Take an inhale, reach the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, hinge at the hips, coming into that forward fold. Keeping a nice straight spine as you come down. You can bring your hands down onto the mat if that's available to you. What we're worried about here is making sure that our spine is nice and straight. So pretend you're aiming to bring your forehead onto the ground as opposed to the top of your head. Active forward fold. One more inhale here. As you exhale, you can go ahead and release, rounding your spine, bringing your gaze instead of towards the ground. Now your gaze is behind you, between your legs. Using your hands, if it's available to you on the ground, you can bend those elbows and walk your hands back through your legs as well to get a little bit deeper. Work towards bringing your heels so that they're in line with your hips. Breathe nice and deep into these hamstrings. On your next inhale, walking yourself back up into a straight spine. We're gonna come into some twists, planting the left hand just under your nose. Take an inhale, reach the right fingertips up towards the ceiling. Really using that left hand as leverage, so you're trying to stack that right shoulder over the left. Gaze either up towards the right thumb or down at the left hand. Whatever feels better for your neck today. And breathe. One more inhale here. As you exhale, we're just gonna switch up our hands. Inhale, reach the left fingertips up towards the ceiling. Working hard to stack that left shoulder over the right. And breathe. One more inhale. As you exhale, bringing the left hand back down. We're gonna walk our hands over towards the right foot and just come into a bit of a forward fold onto this side. Working towards drawing your belly onto that right thigh. Working towards bringing your forehead or your nose to the shin. Breathing nice and deep into the right groin area, into the right hamstring. A little bit more of an intense active fold here where we're focusing just on the one side. Stick with it and breathe. On your next inhale, release, walk yourself over to the other side, and let's repeat. And go ahead and take hold of that left leg, working towards drawing the tummy onto the left thigh, bringing your forehead or your nose down towards the shin. Breathing nice and deep into that left hamstring, left groin. Take an inhale here to slowly come back. We're gonna walk back to the other side. This time we're gonna bend that right knee. And we're gonna come into a side stretch. You can point those left toes up towards the ceiling. Keep your fingertips on the ground if you need. We're working on ankle mobility here in addition to the stretch along the left groin and left hamstring. If you're feeling pretty balanced and solid, you can go ahead and bring your hands into a prayer position, working towards bringing your spine straight up and down. And breathe. One more inhale here. As you exhale, fingertips back to the mat. Let's walk over to the other side and repeat. Bending that left knee, right toes up towards the ceiling. Working on that mobility in the ankle. Finding your balance and then coming on up. Spine straight up and down. If not today, one day. And breathe. Taking one more inhale here. As you exhale, we're gonna release the hands if you have them in a prayer pose. Come on back up to center. With your fingertips on the ground, we're just gonna pivot our feet a little bit closer together. Just a little bit beyond hip distance apart. Bring your toes to point to the outside edges. Take an inhale to lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, bend both knees. We're gonna come into a yogi squat. Once you're feeling pretty good there, again, working on that ankle mobility. You can bring your hands into a prayer position with your thumbs pressed into the center of your chest, your elbows pressed against the inside of the knees to get a little bit deeper into the hip opener. And breathe. All these hip openers helping us to get a little bit of a release tonight. One more inhale here. As you exhale, fingertips back to the ground, straighten your knees. You can pivot them a little bit further apart if you need. Keep a bit of a micro bend in the knees, elbow your hands back to the waist. Inhale with a straight spine, come on back up. Let's pivot ourselves back to the front of our mat. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, upward dog. Halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Shoot your legs back into a high plank. Take an inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Take a breath. Take one more inhale here. As you exhale, hop or step to the middle of your mat. We're gonna come into a crow pose. So a bit of a balancing posture and inversion. Just play with it. Similar to what we had just done, we wanna come high up onto our toes, bringing our weight primarily into our hands, aligning the wrists under the shoulders. And then we want to open our knees a tiny bit and hug the outside of our armpit with your knees. So once you've made contact there, go ahead and just play with your weight distribution. You can practice by lifting one leg up and then the other. Go ahead and find that balance. Squeeze the Mula Bandha so that you can get up nice and high with your hips. One more inhale wherever you're at with this posture. As you exhale, release, shoot your feet back, high plank. Take a breath. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. And breathe. Take one more inhale here. As you exhale, hop or step to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. We're gonna do a few balancing postures before we get onto our mat. So find a good spot that you like to balance in. We're gonna start with our tree pose. So grounding nice and firmly in through the left foot. Take an inhale to reach the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, you can draw that right knee out to the side. Plant the bottom of the right foot either above or below the knee. Once you've found your balance, you can bring your hands to heart center and breathe. With every inhale, reaching the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, really get nice and grounded through the left foot. On your next inhale, option to grow your tree into whatever shape you'd like. Maybe you reach your branches nice and high. Maybe you find a mudra with your fingers. Maybe you bring your gaze up towards the ceiling for added challenge. Continue to breathe. One more inhale here. As you exhale, bring your hands back to heart center. Bring the knee forward and release. Let's switch it up. Grounding in through that right foot. Take an inhale to lengthen. As you exhale, bend that left knee, plant the bottom of the foot to the inside of that standing leg. Once you've found your balance, hands to heart center and breathe. On your next inhale, option to grow your tree. Arms up overhead. Maybe find your mudra. Maybe close your eyes or bring your gaze up towards the ceiling. Whatever your tree pose looks like tonight, just repeat what you did earlier on this side. Nice deep breaths in and out. With every exhale, feeling yourself get nice and grounded through the standing foot. One more inhale here. As you exhale, draw everything back to the center line and gently release. We're gonna ground in through the left foot again. Take an inhale and lift the right knee up to 90. As you exhale, hinge forward from the hips and interlock your fingers below the right foot. If you're feeling pretty good here, you're feeling a bit of a stretch, you're feeling a little bit wobbly, go ahead and stay right here. The trick is to make sure that you're engaging your core to lift that right foot and not stepping that right foot down into your hands. For added challenge, you can go ahead and kick that right foot out, coming into a standing forward fold. You want to try to have your legs at 90 degrees, working to straighten that right leg. And if that's feeling pretty good, you can work towards bringing your forehead down towards the right shin. One more breath. As you exhale, slowly release the same way you came in. Shake it out if you need to. Let's repeat on the other side. Inhale, lengthen. Lift up that left knee. Exhale, hinge at the hips, interlock the fingers. Engage the core to lift that leg. Option to stay here or to kick out, making your way into the forward fold. 90 degrees between both legs. If you're feeling good there, you can begin to draw your body down towards your leg, forehead down towards the shin. One more breath. As you exhale, slowly begin to release. Shake it out. Come on back to the top of your mat. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, high plank. Take a breath. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, come forward into your high plank. As you exhale, chaturanga, but this time come all the way down nice and slow. You can bring your right ear to the mat, gaze to the left. Big toes touching, ankles fall to the outside. Arms on either side of your body, palms facing up. Just take a few breaths here. Bringing your gaze back to center. Bring your palms to your mat just under your shoulders. Zip your legs together. Press the top of your feet down onto the mat. On your next inhale, we're gonna peel our chest away from our mat in a baby cobra. Only 10% weight in our hands. Where we're using our hands is as traction so that we're working towards drawing those hands as if we want to bring them down towards our midline, helping us find a bit of an extra extension along our spine. Feel yourself shooting forward with that extra leverage in your baby cobra. One more breath. As you exhale, release. Left ear on the mat, gaze to the right. Go ahead and release your arms for a few minutes. Bringing your gaze back to center. We're going to return our hands onto our mat. Bringing your hands back under your shoulders. On your next inhale, we're gonna press into the the tops of our feet. Lift up our chest, and this time press into your arms. Coming into a full cobra. You can keep your elbows bent as much as you need. Roll those shoulders down and away from your ears, finding that more intense back extension. Continue to breathe. As you exhale, release. Right ear on the mat, gaze to the left. Again, release your arms as you just take a few breaths. One more here for us as we do this spine strengthening. Bring your gaze back to center. This time, plant your hands more towards your rib cage. Bring your legs to just about hip distance apart, grounding in through the top of your feet. As you inhale, lift your chest up off the mat. And this time, we want to make sure that we're extending our arms, straightening those elbows out. And as you straighten those elbows out, you want to lift your thighs to hover. Bring your gaze forward and up, pressing up into your upward dog. One more inhale. As you exhale, release, slowly lowering down. Left ear on the mat, gaze to the right, and breathe. Bring your gaze back to center. We're just going to plant our hands under our shoulders. On an inhale, press in there and come and find your second child's pose of tonight. Knees nice and wide, big toes to touch. Reach the arms forward, forehead to the mat. Beginning to slow things down here. Coming back to your breath. Taking an inhale, come on up into a tabletop. We're just gonna flip ourselves over, making your way into a seated position. We're gonna straighten our legs out directly in front of us. Coming into staff pose. Inhale, reach the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Your hands are just beside your sit bones, fingers facing forward. Straighten your arms to find a little bit of extra length in the spine. And then go ahead and flex your feet up towards the ceiling and engage your entire leg. So much so that your heels are lifting up off of the ground. And just breathe. Looks like an easy pose, but you're activating a whole bunch of different things here. Taking one more inhale. As you exhale, bring your heels back onto the ground. Walk your hands forward. Keep that straight spine, but begin to hinge at the hips and make your way into an active forward fold. If it's available to you, keeping your back straight, you can reach for your shins or your feet or your toes. Continue to lead with the chest as you slowly begin to draw your tummy towards the thighs, your chest towards your knees, working towards drawing your forehead to your big toes. With every inhale, finding the length in the spine, and as you exhale, using your arms a little bit more to see if you can come down a little bit deeper. One more inhale here. As you exhale, you can begin to release the active fold and come into a passive fold. Rounding your spine, dropping your head, forehead down towards your shin.
Keeping your arms where they need to be if that's comfortable for you, or you can come out a little bit. But releasing that tension, the muscles that you were using to draw your torso forward. Just allowing yourself to melt into the posture.
Inhale, begin to come on out. We're going to bend our knees, bringing the bottoms of our feet onto our mat. Bring your hands back to the sides of your sit bones, fingers facing forward. Take an inhale to extend those elbows. Nice and straight spine, sternum forward and up. You know we're coming into a boat pose as you exhale, bending those elbows, tipping yourself onto those sit bones. Shins come parallel to the ground, toes come up to eye level. If you need a little bit of support, you can bring your hands behind the back of your knees. You can keep your hands beside your sit bones, or you can come to a full half boat, arms on either side of your legs, palms facing up. Continue to keep your chest nice and high, working towards keeping that spine nice and straight. Take an inhale. As you exhale, we're just going to lower our heels, tap. Inhale, come back up. Tap for 4. Come back up. We're going to do 3 more. 2. Last one. And then slowly release. Come all the way flat onto your back. You can just take a moment here in a mini shavasana, finding your breath again. On your next inhale, we're going to bring our right heel up towards the ceiling. Flex that foot. And as you exhale, keeping that right leg as straight as you can, draw that right leg across your body, bringing it towards the left side. You can tee up your arms so that it gives you a little bit of leverage, especially that right arm. Use it to try to ground that right shoulder back into the mat. Coming into a bit of an active twist here. You can go ahead and let that right hip come up off the mat. If it's available to you, you can see if that right toe will touch to the outside of the left side of your body. Trying to keep that right leg as straight as you can. And breathe. On your next inhale, draw that leg back up to center. And as you exhale, slowly release. Counting down from 15. Engaging that core, pressing the small of your back down onto your mat as you move slower than you'd like. Last core work, I promise, for tonight. Once you've made it to hover, go a little bit slower even until you make it all the way down onto the ground. Inhale, left heel up into the sky. As you exhale, begin to trace that heel over towards the right side. Option to see if you can let that left toe or the left side of the foot to rest to the right side of your body. Ground in through the left hand, left shoulder. Coming into this active twist. Keeping both legs nice and straight throughout. Don't forget to breathe. On your next inhale, drawing that left heel back up to the ceiling, keeping that leg as straight as possible. As you exhale, begin to slowly lower that heel down. Again, counting down from 15, engaging the core throughout, pressing the small of your back down onto the mat. Moving slower than you'd like, tracing that straight line as you make your way first to hover. Slow down a little bit more until you finally make your way all the way flat onto the ground. Take an inhale and reach your arms up overhead. Reach your toes away, finding a bit of a stretch. And as you exhale, we're gonna walk our hands and our feet over towards the right side, coming into a banana pose. Cross the left ankle over the right. Grab your left wrist with your right. Coming into a deep stretch, but gentle stretch along the left side of your body. Keep both shoulders and both hips planted into the ground so that you can really get into this side stretch. And just breathe. We'll be here for 10 breaths. If you haven't already closed your eyes, you go ahead and do that now. Coming back to a more relaxed pace of your breath. Really breathing into the left side of your torso. Breathing down that left side of the leg. As you exhale, feel yourself get a little bit heavier onto your mat. One more inhale here. On your next inhale, begin to walk yourself back into center. And as you exhale, walk yourself over to the left. Legs to the left, arms to the left. Cross the right ankle over the left ankle. Take hold of that right wrist with the left hand. Again, keeping the hips and the shoulders planted into the mat. Coming into a nice deep side stretch on the right side of your body. And breathe. Last breath here. On your next inhale, walking back to center. And as you exhale, draw your knees up towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. You can rock back and forth or side to side if that feels good. We're gonna come into one last inversion tonight, coming into a shoulder stand. You have an option to go ahead and find a bridge pose instead, bringing your bottoms of your feet to the mat and just pressing your hips up towards the ceiling if that feels better for you, a more gentle inversion. If you'd like to come along with me, you can go ahead and use a bit of momentum and just bring your toes up and overhead, lifting your sit bones up high. Once you're there, you want to use your hands to support your sit bones, kind of at that sacrum area along your back. If this is even feeling pretty good, you can go ahead and stay in plow pose. Option as well to bring your legs a little bit wider apart and bend your knees and come into this variation of plow pose. Getting a little bit deeper into that throat chakra. Your chin is resting on your chest. Nice release for your back there. Or an option to come into that shoulder stand, bringing your legs up overhead, working towards bringing the bottoms of your feet to be pointed up at the ceiling. Really working on balancing on the shoulders here and not on the neck. So you don't want to feel the weight on the neck. You want to actively squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you, creating a bit of a cushion that you're resting on. And you've got a little bit of space under your neck. So make those micro adjustments as you play with it. Continue to breathe, giving a chance for the blood flow to reverse itself in all these inversions tonight. Bringing some awesome clean blood up into your brain, flushing itself out. 2 more breaths in whatever variation you're choosing tonight. On your last exhale, you can slowly come on out, whichever variation you've been in. Slowly begin to reverse the way you came in, bringing your vertebrae down onto your mat one at a time. Option to give yourself another big squeeze, or maybe find another posture that'll help you find just that last release, something that maybe we haven't had a chance to cover yet today. Maybe it's a happy baby. Maybe you find a half straddle in that happy baby, extending one leg and then the other. Whatever it may be, do what you feel like your body needs before you make your way into your final Shavasana tonight. When you're ready, at your own pace, making your way flat onto your back, bringing your legs to the outer edges and beyond, arms a little ways away from your body, palms facing up. Draw the shoulder blades down your back. Make any final adjustments that you may need. And begin to settle in. Deepening your breath into the low belly. With every inhale, feeling the lightness and the roundness as your front body fills with air. As you exhale, feeling the heaviness in the back body as you sink a little bit deeper into your mat. Taking some extra time here so that your body has a chance to process all the work it's done. Bringing your breath back to that resting state and beginning to tune in again. your next inhale, beginning that process of relaxation, scanning your body, first breathing into the right side of your body, breathing into the right arm, all the way down to the right hand, breathing into every finger on that right hand. Breathe into the right side of your torso. Breathe into that right hip. Send your breath down the right leg, all the way down to the right foot. Breathe into every toe on that right foot. Now breathe into the left side of your body. Send your breath down the left arm, all the way to the left hand. Breathe into every finger on that left hand. Breathe into the left side of your torso, left hip, down the left leg, down to the left foot. Breathe into every toe on that left foot. Now breathe deep into the low belly. Begin to relax the low belly. Relax your tummy and all the core muscles. Relax your diaphragm, your rib cage, your chest, your collarbone, your shoulders. Release any tension you may hold in your neck. Relax your jaw, your cheeks, the muscles around your eyes, your eyebrows, your forehead. Smooth out the space between your eyebrows. Relax the muscles around your mouth, your lips, your tongue. Letting the tip of your tongue rest on the back side of your front teeth. Come back to your breath. Bringing yourself back into your space, back onto your mat. back into your body. Gently beginning to wake yourself up, wiggling your fingers, maybe your toes. Maybe you rotate your wrists gently, or your ankles, or you move your head from side to side. When you're ready to come out, rolling first onto the right side of your body, resting in this fetal position for a few more breaths, just to savor this practice, hanging on to this stillness and this peace. What I love most about home practice is that there is no rush whatsoever to come out of your shavasana, to come out of that fetal position. You take your time where you're at. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me tonight. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the night. Enjoy the new moon energy tomorrow, and I'll see you guys again next Thursday. Namaste.